Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you guys are all doing well. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the Nitro Cheap Thrill snowboard. I was able to test this board out at Copper, got a bunch of great laps on it, and in this video I'm gonna talk about all the tech and I'll share my thoughts on how it felt out on the mountain as well. All right, the Cheap Thrills is a freestyle focused board on the Nitro lineup, and it's a true twin board. So it's got a perfectly symmetrical shape from nose to tail, gonna have a symmetrical flex as well, and it runs their flat out profile, which is pretty much a full flat profile. But right as you approach those contact points, that widest point on the nose and tail, you're gonna find a little bit of rocker in this board. So it's gonna have a very predictable feel that you're gonna get with that flat camber profile, you know, pretty much full flat, but that rocker at the contact point is gonna help to make this board a little bit less catchy and may help you out a little bit for presses and butters as well. There is some tech I want to highlight in this board. First off is Nitro's Urashred sidewalls, which is just a urethane sidewall. That's the same material that skateboard wheels are made out of. It's a very durable material and also going to have some nice dampening properties. So that's the sidewall you're going to find on this board, as well as their rail killer edges, which I think is really sick, particularly for a more jib focused park board like this. And the actual metal edges on this board are twice as thick as your traditional edge. So they're gonna be way more durable, they're gonna stand up to impacts better. It's great for rail riding, or if you're the type of rider that wants to ride urban features or take your snowboarding to the streets, this board's gonna handle that riding well and be able to stand up to some pretty serious impacts. And going along with that, you're also gonna find an extruded base on this board. So what that means for you is just less maintenance. You're not gonna have to be worrying about waxing this board as often to maintain a consistent glide. It's also gonna be easier to repair. If you get a gouge in it riding rails or whatever you're doing on this board, it's gonna hold P-Tex a little bit better for those at-home repairs. As far as the flex goes, I found this board to be on the softer side of medium. It's not noodle soft, but it's a fairly soft and playful snowboard overall. For reference guys, I weigh around 150 pounds and I rode this board in the 152. And this is actually the softest twin board that Nitro makes on the lineup. So it's definitely gonna come through with that more playful, jibby feel to it, which I think is a great complement for that flat camber profile. I really enjoy these flat camber boards, particularly for rail features and for like jib focused riding. I think that flat camber profile helps you lock into rail features really well for 50-50. Feels good going sideways as well. This board had a really good glide to it out there at Copper. And combine that with the soft flex, this is gonna be a great board to work on those more technical rail tricks, you know, working on presses, working on spins out of rails where that torsional flex comes in handy. This is gonna be a great board for that type of riding. And it's also a lot of fun for butter tricks as well. You know, if you're trying to do those tail presses, nose presses, one of my favorites is the back one, cab 3 out. This board feels really good for that. It's gonna help you out getting those more tall, exaggerated presses going, which is nice. The rocker at the contact points helps make it a little less catchy when you are out there buttering on snow. It's gonna feel really good out there and help you out when it comes to that style of riding. I did actually really enjoy this board for carving as well. It's definitely not a high-speed bomber. You know, it is softer flexing. It doesn't have any camber in the profile, so it's not super precise, but it's not really gonna hold you back out there in my opinion. It's a lot of fun for cruising around between park laps. And it actually has an 8.3 meter side cut on the 152 here. So that's a well above average side cut. Makes turns feel way better going at higher speeds. Once you get this board going pretty fast, it's gonna throw you into a more longer drawn out turn. So I think that helps this board out for carving. With that said though, this is actually a pretty narrow snowboard. The 152 is 248 millimeters at the waist, so that's a little bit below average, I'd say. So if you have a larger boot size or you're the type of rider that really likes to lay boards over to an aggressive edge angle, this isn't gonna be a great board for that. So there is that limitation to keep in mind when it comes to carving. And even though this is a fairly soft and playful snowboard, it does come through with some decent pop. It's gonna offer some added boost going off rollers, going off jumps, alling onto features, all that kind of stuff. I didn't feel like I was having to work especially hard out there, which was nice. And it's a decent jump board as well. It has some decent stability considering that it is a more jib focused snowboard. I wouldn't be sending like the XL line on this board unless you were just really on point with it, landing bolts. You know, if you land a little back seat, it may wash out. There's not a ton of stability back there, but felt totally comfortable out on the medium line, and definitely wouldn't hesitate to use this as just like an all-around park kind of board. And I know some of you guys are gonna ask about how this board rides in powder. At the end of the day, this is a true twin freestyle board. It's flat camber, doesn't really have any extra surface area outside the contact points. Isn't really gonna offer any benefit when it comes to powder riding. So if you do plan to take this board out on a pow day, definitely set that stance back. I'd probably set it back all the way on a proper pow day. Overall, this is a board that's really gonna shine the most in the park. You know, it's got a pretty soft and playful feel to it. It's gonna be great for lapping the rail line with your friends. You can definitely venture into the jumps or do some exploring around the mountain as well. It's not gonna hold you back too much for that type of riding, but it is pretty soft. It's not noodly, but it is soft. So I would say the highlights for me is definitely rails and butters and presses, doing that kind of stuff. I think if you're a more experienced rider, you're really gonna enjoy this board for that style of riding. It's also gonna be a great choice for you guys looking to get into park riding and just learn the freestyle fundamentals. Gonna be a great board for freestyle progression. So if any of that sounds like something that you're interested in, definitely make sure to check out the Nitro Cheap Thrills. Comes in at a great price point as well, right around $400. So it's a nice affordable snowboard to get into that freestyle focused riding. If you want to check this board out, I'll have it linked in the description. And if you've had a chance to ride it, let us know your thoughts down in the comments. You can leave any questions for me down there as well. Make sure to drop a like on the video if you got some value. Subscribe to the channel for more snowboard reviews and just general snowboard content. I really appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you in a new video next time. Later, guys.